So I've been urging people to pressure their favorite politicians instead of making excuses for them when they stab you in the front. And it turns out Bernie's own delegates, are the ones doing this. Standing up, I mean. So here, look at this. Just scoop. More than 360 Democratic delegates, most of whom back Bernie Sanders, have signed on to a pledge to vote against the Democratic Party's platform if it does not include support for Medicare for All, say the petition's organizers. A revolt is brewing among Bernie Sanders delegates 3 weeks from the Democratic National Convention. They argue that single-payer health care is an urgent priority amid a worldwide pandemic and the biggest unemployment crisis since the Great Depression. You would think that single-payer health care is an urgent priority amid a worldwide pandemic, but it turns out it's not. I mean, for our rulers. Remember, you don't live in a democracy, and this story is going to prove that. Look at that. A record 5.4 million Americans have lost health insurance, study finds. That's from July 13th. This pandemic has shown us that our private health insurance system does not work for the American people. Millions of people have lost their jobs and their health care at the same time, said Judith Whitmer. That's a Sanders delegate and chair of the convention's Nevada delegation. There's people leaving the hospital now with millions of dollars in medical bills. What are we going to do about that? The warning is all but certain to set up a clash between Sanders' most dedicated supporters and presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden, who opposes Medicare for All. At a time when the party is seeking to demonstrate unity ahead of its August convention, organizers also said they are not being divisive. We're not giving you health care, and that's not divisive. We're not giving you a UBI, and that's not divisive. What? They say it's the party leaders overruling the grassroots are being divisive. Exactly. Telling people that can't have Medicare for all when the rest of the Western world has it, that's divisive. Demanding it is not. Demanding we have Medicare for all is not divisive because guess what? The majority of the country wants Medicare for all, including Republicans, but about 90% of Democrats. And so by not putting it in the platform, Joe Biden is being divisive. Do you follow this logic? I hope so. So the progressive Bernie Sanders delegates who are putting their foot down, they point to exit polls showing that majority of Democratic primary voters across the states are in favor of Medicare for All. Last week, the DNC committee released a draft platform that did not include support for Medicare for All or other top progressive priorities, such as a jobs guarantee, a Green New Deal. Nope. Won't even, first of all, do you understand that the platform is couldn't be less meaningless? Doesn't mean anything. And they won't even do that. That's what I said last time. Hillary Clinton wouldn't even give us lip service that she was going to give us health care. She wouldn't even the only time she got animated in the whole 2016 campaign is when she was screaming about how a Medicare for all will never happen. It will never come to pass. They won't even give us lip service. You have two parties in America, a crazy right-wing party and a moderate right-wing party. You have no moderate party. You have no centrist party. You have no left party. You have no center-left party. You have nothing. I mean, viable. So they're not putting in Medicare for All or a Green New Deal or a jobs guarantee, despite Sanders' aides' efforts to include them as planks. And what is Bernie Sanders supposed to do in that situation? What Bernie Sanders is supposed to do is tell Joe Biden to go fucking pound sand. I ain't telling my supporters to back you until you give people health care, you piece of shit. That's what he's supposed to do. You won't even give us lip service for it? Fuck you. That's what he's supposed to do. But Bernie is a cuck, as Kyle Kalinske has pointed out time and time again. Bernie is a cuck, and he's been cucked. And so he ain't gonna get you health care. He's gonna let the machine roll right on over you. He's helping push the machine. In the Democratic Party, there's an attitude that we have to write our platform to match the candidate, Whitmer said. We want to get back to the way it should be, which is the people create the platform based on our values and principles and what we want the candidate to support. DNC committee blocks Medicare for All from the 2020 draft platform. That's our update. That's from July 27th. DNC committee blocks Medicare for All from 2020 draft party platform. Democrats blocked an attempt to include Medicare for All in the party's 2020 draft platform. Medicare for All advocates were thwarted by 125 DNC committee members. The amendment, which will be further debated at the National Convention next month, received 36 votes in favor. What kind of a party has 90% of its registered members wanting a thing and it not giving it to them? Overwhelmingly not giving it to them. Over 125, 30, overwhelmingly. How is that a real political party? That's an organization set up by oligarchs to fuck you. That's not a political party. History will not judge this kindly. DNC platform committee votes down Medicare for All amendment. It's like opposing the New Deal during the Great Depression. It's unforgivable. And so do you understand why you're supposed to be pressuring your elected leaders, not apologizing for them or defending them? Roots.org Action co-founder Jeff Cohen wrote that the fact that our nation is in the only advanced industrial country without universal health care cannot be blamed on Republicans' obstruction alone, and it's also caused by Democratic leaders who've spent decades catering to corporate interests while collecting their campaign donations and refusing to fight for universal coverage. The committee also voted down separate attempts to include support for expanding Medicare to include children. No, voted it down. Hey, can we expand Medicare to include children? No. Dropping the Medicare eligibility age from 65 to 55, they said no. You know, Hillary Clinton offered to drop the Medicare age to 50. They won't even drop it to 55. Do you know we're going backwards by huge leaps going backwards? And your solution is still vote blue. That's still your solution. That's still what you think is going to get us, because real change happens when you vote Joe Biden and Democrats. Look at all the change we've had since the Democrats took over the House. Look how they've given Trump absolutely everything he's asked for and an extra $132 billion for military spending that they gave to a guy who they say is a traitor to our country. Plus, they expanded his spying powers. Plus, they gave him money to build his wall. All at the same time, they turned their back on DACA. They turned their back on a jobs guarantee. They turned their back on Medicare for All, a Green New Deal, UBI, anything to help you. The Democrats, no, you can't have it. Isn't this awesome? But you go turn on all the other YouTube lefty shows, and they're all telling you what great fucking people we have in the Democratic Party and how we got to stand by them.
Probably fundraising for them.
And now you know why we're probably fundraising for them. And now you know why we're in the shit show we're in. Because our fucking people who consider themselves lefty media are in bed with the fucking problem. That's real. They won't even legalize fucking marijuana. I'm sorry, Steph. They won't even fucking legalize marijuana, these pukes. This is your Democratic Party. You're not screaming. Bernie Sanders isn't screaming at the top of his lungs that the Democratic Party has betrayed us. No. He's betraying you. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
No worries. I just wanted to go backwards, say expanding Medicare to children, right? And they're like, no, we can't do this. By the way, just as you were reading that, I'm like, it just how does that not like just knock the wind out of you?
I know.
That they're not going to take care of children. Okay, but I just want to add to this too that the statistic is 2.5 million children are homeless. 2.5 million children in America are homeless, and that the Democrats are completely inept on purpose.
On purpose. They would even Hillary Clinton did better than this. They're going backwards by huge leaps.
And that's what Joe Biden means when he says nothing fundamentally will change.
That's what he means. No one's getting health care, no one's getting a job, and we're going to be more like Brazil every day. And if you want to vote for that, you're a fucking idiot. And it turns out half the country are fucking idiots. The whole country's a bunch of fucking idiots. That's how we got our leaders like that. People think Barack Obama was a good guy. And the other half of the country thinks fucking Donald Trump is actually sticking it to the establishment. As he gives them everything they ever wanted. Trump presided over the largest upward transfer of wealth in the history of our country. Don't ever fucking forget that. He is not your friend. He is all talk. He is a bullshitting con man. Which is why you don't have health care. Which is why you're afraid to get sick. Which is why you're afraid to lose your house right now. Which is why you don't have a job. Bernie Sanders spokesman Mike Casca on many of his delegates pledging to vote against a Democratic Party platform that does impact Medicare for All. He says Senator Sanders believes that the Democratic Party platform should advocate strongly for Medicare for All. And that, of course, is a major reason why we fought so hard for the nomination. The senator appreciates that amid a deadly pandemic, which is creating a national healthcare emergency, his delegates understand that now more than ever, we must guarantee healthcare as a human right. Except you're not ever going to do anything to make sure that happens, Bernie, except fucking say shit like that. What you should do right now is say, no, I'm telling my people to not vote for you, Joe, until you promise to give them health care. At least promise. I know you're not going to do it, but at least you have to promise. Or else I'm going to look like a fucking idiot in front of my people. Bernie Sanders does not care about looking like a fucking sellout in front of his own people. He cares about looking like someone who stood up for you in front of the establishment. That's what Bernie Sanders is doing right now. She says Sanders will vote for the party platform. Oh, you will? Why not vote against it? Make a stand. Because you're a fucking nutless wonder who props up the Democratic Party and squashes a third-party movement. That's what Bernie Sanders does. And that might be hard to hear right now, but in a few months you'll all be like, oh, goddamn right, Jimmy Dore was right. Sanders will vote for the party platform as a superdelegate. The fucking irony! Per an aide to him. As I said in my story today, the pledge by many Sanders delegates to vote against a platform without Medicare for All represents something of a split over strategy between him and his supporters. You mean a split on strategy? You mean like his supporters actually want to try to get it and he doesn't give a fuck? You mean like that kind of a split on strategy? Bernie's strategy is to do absolutely nothing to make sure Medicare for All happens. His supporters actually want to pressure Joe Biden. Bernie says, fuck you, go pound sand. His supporters say, no, maybe we should hold out. Bernie says, fuck off. You're not getting health care. Vote for Joe Biden. I'll be dead in a few years. Who gives a fuck? That's what Bernie says. Oh. The Democrats are making a fatal mistake by turning their backs on Medicare for All. This will backfire, and they won't be able to blame Bernie Sanders this time. He's a company man now. Oh, yeah, is he? All it would take is for Trump to come out and say, I'm going to expand Medicare to cover everybody in the middle of a pandemic. I'm going to give everybody a UBI. And if you want a job, we'll give you a job. By the way, we're going to get out of Afghanistan. First of all, just one of those things would win him to the election. But what he ran on last time was giving you health care. Trump ran on that and getting us out of the Middle East wars. He ran on that and everybody decent jobs. He ran on that. He didn't do any of those. And the country still wants them. Joe Biden isn't offering you any one of those three either. Neither is Trump. People still want them. That's how easy it is for Trump to win this election if he wanted to. He's back. He's down by like 10 points. All he had to do, come out, one of those things. Hey, I'm going to get us out of Afghanistan. We're starting tomorrow. I asked the generals to draw up a plan. Hey, we're going to expand Medicare to cover everybody until this, for the next 2 years, till we're out of this depression. And we're going to offer a job to anybody who wants one during this depression. And you got your new president. That's how bad it is. They won't even say it. Trump was at least saying it in 2016, that he's going to give everybody health care, get us out of the Middle East wars, and give everybody a good job. He was at least saying it. Hillary wouldn't. Now Joe Biden won't say it, and neither will Trump. That's how good the Democrats are doing. They won't even fucking legalize in the platform, which is meaningless. Do you understand what a giant red, white, and blue middle finger the Democratic Party is giving to you right now? Do you understand the giant red, white, and blue middle finger is jamming in your eye? But you got to vote because you know Joe Biden. He'll at least listen to you. You could really work. He's not listening to you before you vote for him, you jackass. You unbelievable moron. He's not listening to you before you vote for him, you stupid dupe on purpose. You're going to be able to move. Well, he'll at least get in the... I like the amount of naivety and on purpose stupidity of people who consider them left is mind-blowing. They're as dumb as any Tea Party bagger, whatever, any fuck. They're even dumber. No, you got to vote Biden. Why? Because he'll listen to us and we can work with him. What is your evidence for that? Oh, I'm pulling it out of my ass. Because that's never been the case. Joe Biden has never listened to us, ever. And he's not doing it right now. In fact, he's giving us the biggest red, white, and blue finger right in our eye.
Come on, Jimmy. Why would the Democrat Party legalize pot? How is that going to continue to fund their prison?
That's right.
Right? This is all about
prison
labor,
that's
exploiting.
That's right, 100%.
And it continues to be tied. And if he picks Kamala Harris, they'll be on the same page about exploiting people.
So what? Do you know what this is? This is what's called a rapacious oligarchy, meaning the Democratic Party is not just wrong or corrupt. They're evil. And Bernie is supporting evil. Bernie's been doing evil a lot lately. He voted for the CARES Act. That's evil. He did it. This is evil. They're now evil. They're now advocating for locking up human beings in cages to benefit the bank account of some other people, and they're using marijuana to do it. That's the Democrats. Evil. Not just wrong, not just corrupt, but actually evil. And how you could look into anyone's eye and tell them they have to vote for that. You are soulless. You know, right before you do that, your soul leaves your body. Did you know that? That's why it feels so fucked up when you say it. When you tell somebody they have to vote blue, you know why that fucking feels weird right now? That's because your soul has to leave your body first. 105 to 60. They voted down 105 to 60. That's your party? The platform was unlikely to ever endorse full legalization since Joe Biden, the presumptive nominee, does not back the policy. Dennis Obusky, a delegate who introduced the legalization amendment, noted that the current document is a step backwards from the 2016 platform, which supported providing a reasoned pathway for future legalization. Iowa County Supervisor Stacey Walker argued that the current federal laws disproportionately affect black people. I'm imploring all of you to approach this with an open mind and heart. Do something big here, Walker said. Take one small but meaningful step towards changing the course of history. If my black life matters to you, you will consider this amendment. No. Your black life does not matter to the Democratic oligarchs. You don't be silly. Breaking by 117 to 34, the Democratic National Committee platform committee. The Democratic DNC Platform Committee members vote to oppose proposed language that would express the party's opposition to Israeli settlements in the West Bank and support conditioning aid to Israel in response to annexation. They voted that down. They can't even say in a platform that Israel should have to follow the law. They can't even do that. So there you go. There's your Democratic Party. That's kind of jaw-dropping, huh? Because you're going to turn on every other show and they're going to tell you have to vote for Joe Biden. They're going to have to tell you that it's okay. They're going to tell you that Bernie Sanders is fighting for you. They're going to tell you that they're not. None of them are. Nick Barano was on the show, Representative Pramila Jayapal, whose number one issue is Medicare for all. She's not fighting anymore. She already told Nick she's not going to do that. She's not fighting for Medicare for all anymore. She's not fighting for anything. She said she's waiting till January. So while 23 million people get kicked out of their house, some people say 27 million, and they still don't have health care in the middle of a pandemic, and nobody has a job, and we're still in 7 wars, your progressive elected officials, they're done. They're not going to work for the rest of the year. They're done advocating for you. They're just going to do whatever the fucking Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi tells them to. That's what they're saying. And you got to vote blue no matter who. You got to vote Democrat for real progress, to protect people. Hey, this is the part where I tell you where our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then I would tell you to go join our premium, but nobody has a fucking job. So why don't you just enjoy the video?